Circus Maximus had been traveling Romania for 2 weeks now, with a few performances in Moldova in between. Pjotr had been with the troupe for almost a year. A misfit of the streets, Pjotr had made a sort of living with diverse conjurer's tricks, when Mr. Palaci had dragged him into the hard-working, efficient embrace of the circus. Yet for all the drudgery, he was something Pjotr hadn't known before. The feeling of solidarity, being part of a family of sorts. For all the differences, the artistes and the crew worked for one common good, the circus. There was Tiny Tom, 300 pounds of sheer muscle, could tear 3 phone books apart in one pull. Julius the Peculius, whose face was so gummy that he could touch his lower lip to his eyebrows. Palaci himself and his score of white horses. Pierre the clown, whose sad face always made you laugh, whose tears were so affected. Look at me, I'm such a tortured clown. Always a reminder of the mediocrity of self-pity. Only 2 people stood a little apart. The Blandini twins, Luigi and Monica, were so much alike that people often confused them, even though they were man and woman in their late teens. Their act was the trapeze, triple somersaults, their trademark. Even Palaci mentioned their name with awe. Sometimes when Pjotr looked at their act, the illusion came upon him. There was only one up there, swinging from trapeze to trapeze. But the next moment, the mirage had gone, and the twins were smiling down at the spectators, bathing in their thunderous applause. One night, as the tent was packed and the vans were getting ready to leave Salo, heading for Bystryta, Pjotr heard Palaci bellow through the hustle of exodus. Something was amiss. You saw them last, by the elephants. I tell you they're not there. And neither in the caravan. They're gone, all gone. He was yelling at Tiny Tom, who at least mentally looked rather smallish now. Pjotr stood up from his bunk, absent-mindedly doing some card tricks while walking out to see what was wrong. You seen the Blandinis? Palaci shouted, but Pjotr shook his head no. A storm was brewing, no big surprise. It had been on the weather forecast, yet still it felt like an omen. The horses were nervous because their master was. All through the next hours, people walked the perimeters, shouting, Blandini! Luigi! Monica! But to no avail. A stillness settled on the whole group. Next morning, the circus headed for Bystryta. Palaci determined to fulfill the contract, despite the disappearance of the twins. Through storm and shower, they went on their way. In Bystryta, the local population told the troupe how the arrival of the Circus Maximus had been preceded by a score of ominous events. A goat had suddenly collapsed and died. An orchard had blossomed in late autumn. Good and bad occurrences, all beyond the natural scheme of things. Palaci considered cancelling the show, but the mayor assured him this was sheer coincidence. These rural people were prone to see omens in just about everything. Never mind them. Let's just get on with the show. To fill out the gap caused by the absence of the Blandinis, Valletta got the chance to perform with her sea lions. She was Pjotr's secret love. Ever since she had joined 3 months ago, she had shown remarkable skills with animals. First helping Palaci with the horses, then inheriting Miss Marrakesh's sea lions, when that grand old lady had finally succumbed to a terminal illness. Valletta had won their trust in no time. After only 1 month's rehearsals, she delivered perfect performance. She smiled out to the spectators, and then she caught Pjotr's eyes, grinning wistfully. Pjotr was almost fainting with bliss. Luckily, he had already done his own act, or else his lack of concentration would have spelled disaster. That night, she knocked on the door to his room. At night, he lost his innocence for real. Next morning, when he rose from their love nest and looked out, he saw 2 ravens fly towards the horizon. And just for a fleeting moment, he thought he saw humanoid features on these birds. Features last glimpsed from under the canvas, swinging from trapeze to trapeze. You ever wondered why they left? Valletta asked from behind, hugging her arms around him. They had to go back, she continued, sinking her teeth into his neck. That's where we all go when the time comes. Pjotr felt her teeth. He sensed a blurring at the edge of his vision. Felt the 2 of them kind of melt together. Almost like twins.